I am so delighted this afternoon to have a wonderful guest, Jason Siegel, on the podcast today. Welcome, Jason.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Jason is the president and CEO of the Greater Orlando Sports Commission, Go Sports. He has been in that role for the past 8 years, and he has more than 30 years in sports tourism, major and minor league professional sports, and intercollegiate athletes. You're a busy guy. Prior to leading the Greater Orlando Sports Commission, he was managing partner and CEO of the Orlando Solar Bears, which, by the way, are starting up right in October again. Excited about that. He
Yeah.
was also recognized here in Orlando as the 2023 Downtowner of the Year by the Downtown Orlando Partnership. And under his leadership, the Go Sports Board of Directors has quadrupled. Their corporate partnerships have surged to over 140. That's amazing. You went to Binghamton University in New York. You know, I'm a Buffalo girl. That's where I was born and raised in Western New York. But you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan. Don't know about that. And you have four wonderful children and a lovely wife. And you just returned from the Paris Olympics, Jason. So welcome to Boldline, and tell us about your most recent trip.
It was incredible. I mean, it was a great opportunity, especially in the line of work that we're doing. It was great to have all of our partners in just about one place. That's a pretty good size footprint, as some of the Olympic activity was scattered all throughout the country. But it was a great trip, incredibly productive. I would never try to tell you that it was all work and it was super boring, but it wasn't. It was extremely exciting. Obviously, one of the best Olympics. It'll go down as one of the best Olympics of time, and we were happy to be able to be part of it. And of course, our job is to drive economic impact to Orlando, market our destination. We were able to do quite a few interviews while we were there, get a bunch of press, landed a pretty big Reuters interview, which a lot of outlets picked up on. So all in all, very productive 3.5 days overseas.
And I imagine you ate a little cheese and drank a little wine.
I'm not a wine drinker, but there was a ton of great food. So that was we were just so on the go. You were almost. It's funny because we're used to in this industry eating at arenas and stadiums our whole lives.
Right.
But there were a couple of occasions where we could stop and slow down and have a meal. Especially we did a great interview over lunch, so that was nice to be able to do that.
Oh, well, Paris is wonderful. I was actually there in May. And so I was jealous that you were back there, but you're right. What an amazing Olympics. And I really do agree. It's going to be one for the record books. Definitely.
Yeah. Picture postcard moments, one right after the next. It was lovely.
It was so cool. Well, hey, I want to ask you a couple things, couple lines of questions. One, I want to ask you about how you ended up in this amazing career. So tell me a little bit about your career journey. And then I do want to have you talk a bit about the Orlando Sports Commission and all the great things that it brings to our region, because it really is an amazing jewel here in the community. So tell me, like, you went to school in Binghamton. How did you end up there, and how did you end up here?
I was pre-med at Michigan, and at the last second, my father's from Brooklyn, and he said, "Hey, let's go check out the State University of New York schools, the system called SUNY." And we did that. We kind of and I just loved the campus and loved the school, and started there pre-med, immediately switched to economics. Within a year, I knew that was not what I wanted to do, that I wanted to work in either the finance sector or some form of business, and switched my major. Yeah, so at the time when I was in college and I had switched over to economics, I had an opportunity to do an internship with the minor league hockey team for the Hartford Whalers. And actually, they at the time didn't offer any college credit. They weren't paid positions. And I went to my career service advisor and begged and pleaded and got them to agree to give me college course credit in exchange for the many hours that I put in working there at the hockey team. And that's sort of how I fell in love with it all. But at the same time, it was kind of neat because when I went back and saw that same advisor many, many years later, she said, you were the first to kind of crack the ceiling. Like we never gave credit. You were the first. And interestingly enough, a lot of future Binghamton graduates would go on to either work for me or be a grad assistant or an intern. So we kept those lines of communication. I feel like I paid it forward.
You definitely did. And our background like connects in two different ways. Like I'm a SUNY graduate too. So I graduated from State University College at Buffalo. And then of
Yeah.
course I lived and worked in Hartford.
Okay.
My husband, Paul, is an incredible Hartford Whalers fan. He
No
misses
kidding.
the Whalers, where there is a pennant out in our garage, Jason. So
Love it.
that's really cool that
I
your
still have a
career
few
started there.
jerseys laying around the house. So
Oh, okay. All right. Hey, I am going to tell him about what you did. So you talked a little bit about the Orlando Sports Commission. I know that the profile here is just been incredibly raised in the last few years. So tell our listeners a little bit about the amazing events that we do have going on here.
yeah, I think that Orlando is really blessed with a lot of great venues, tremendous leadership, both elected leadership and in the private sector.
Yes.
We really have a great collaborative spirit. I think that's sort of on the shoulders of tourism, who, between our airport and transportation authorities and our theme parks and attractions and hotel and lodging and restaurant tours, there's this collaborative energy amongst leaders in this community, understanding that the tide will rise with all of that great effort.
Yes.
And I felt like in sports, it could be the same thing.
Hmm.
We're one of the largest regional sports commissions left in the country. We work on behalf of Lake County, Osceola County, Seminole County, Orange County, and the city of Orlando. So we have a substantial footprint, 45 plus venues,
Hmm.
great venue management teams. And we really felt like, in addition to the mission is very simply drive economic impact through sport, also to market the destination through sport, but also we wanted to be the glue. We wanted to be this collaborative entity that would, sort of pull everybody together. We would celebrate everything going on, regardless of what county or what sport, or not worrying about who got credit for what. It was just a matter of could we raise our profile domestically? Could we raise our profile internationally? And it was a real credit to a lot of leaders who were already in the community who said, "Yeah, we'll go down that road with you." And obviously, our community continued to have big win after big win. Our organization was founded in 1992 with this sole purpose of bringing World Cup to Orlando, which we did in 94, and then Olympic soccer in 96. And things were going so well that, our group found its footing. 10, 15 years ago, there were only 100 sports commissions in the United States. Now there's over 600. So the
Wow.
competition is tough. Our city is competing with many others. And I feel like the secret sauce ultimately is, um, when they come to Orlando, they're going to have an incredible experience. Our partners are going to have an incredible experience. We've hosted it all. We've had bowl games for many, many years. We've had NBA All-Star, MLS All-Star games. We've had Special Olympics USA games. We've had international soccer. We've hosted just about everything in the Olympic space, just about everything in the NCAA space, March Madness, et cetera, et cetera. So we've had these, tremendous wins. Just a few months ago, the Olympic marathon trials were here in town. So yeah, esports is on the rise. A lot of different areas. We felt like we had expertise. I have a really great team here. Brent Nelson's with us, 29 years. Jen Lastic is with us, 18 years. We've got a small team. When I got
Hmm.
here, we launched with about 7 or 8 full-time employees, and we've grown
Wow.
a little bit. We only have 11 or 12 now, covering 4 counties in the city of Orlando. So We work hard, but we've got tremendous help. We get a lot of access, a lot of opportunity. We've got a lot of, we can mobilize, we can ebb and flow, and we can, if we need to be 100 strong, we can be 100 strong. If we need to be 500 strong, we can flex up, flex down. We get a lot of great volunteers when we bid on things like World Cup. We'll bring a lot of, senior level executives from the community together to rally behind those big opportunities. So it's exciting. We've done some great work, had some great recognition. Our
Mhm.
industry association has said a lot of nice things about us, and our industry publications, the Sports Business Journal named Orlando the #1 sports event destination in the country a couple months ago.
Excellent.
That's all well and good, but our
On
site,
to the next,
yeah,
right?
that's it.
On
We're
to the
we're
next.
on to the next, 5, 10, 18, 15 years. It's
Yeah.
there's a lot going on, and we're looking out into 2033 and 2040. There's all these different opportunities. We've got Summer Olympics coming. We've got Winter Olympics coming, although we won't do a lot of, maybe some off-road training here in
Yeah,
Orlando,
there you go.
but
What's your dream event to bring here or
Olympics.
bring back?
Yeah, Olympics. I mean,
Olympics.
if that's the stretch goal, and that's a big one. I think
Yeah.
Paris spent about 8-9 billion dollars on,
Wow. I could
of
see it
course,
though.
with
Definitely.
a lot of help from their country, and a lot of great energy around it. But I think, something like that would be incredible, and that's a big opportunity for a community like ours. But as you know, we're growing by, whatever it is, 1,000, 1,500 residents a week. And
I think
uh,
it's 1,500 a day. That's what it feels like
oh
on
my
the
goodness.
highways
Wow.
anyway.
Yeah. So, who knows what we'll look like. There's a lot of opportunity, but it's really competitive. The environment has never been more competitive. Our competitors are educated. Our partners within the rights holders, the event ownership groups
Mhm.
that are looking for places to bring these events, they're very sophisticated about their approach. So we have to be able to keep up with all of that.
Yes. So, Jason, in the career journey world in CareerSource Central Florida, we meet a lot of people who are interested in getting into sports, tourism, and supporting athletes and supporting events or being a part of it. What kind of advice might you give someone looking at this industry? I think it's also eye-opening to think about, as you just said, the competitive nature. So, it seems like sales and sales acumen are going to be really important traits to hone. But what else?
Yeah, I think at its core, and I'm getting ready to have an interview or two later today. We've got some opportunities for folks here in our organization, but number one is unparalleled work ethic. You've got to be self-motivated. Our industry is incredibly competitive. We have a lot of folks who want to work in the industry, so we have the ability to be very selective and look for folks that are self-driven, self-motivated, really can push, and I want folks that are career-minded, not job-minded. This is not a job. This is a career. They're reading and educating themselves. They're staying up with current events, but first and foremost, unparalleled work ethic. Second is competence. I mean, they've got to understand the material. They have to have an appreciation for all that goes into it. And you're right. There's a large sales component on the business development side where we're trying to sell our ability to host big events. The other half to the equation is actually executing those events. So our event management teams putting on large, big, opportunities is really, kind of our signature here in Orlando. I've heard,
We
we've
do
talked about it.
everything big.
We do. And if you think about, we said this to FIFA when they were here just a couple of years ago. If you think about the attendance every day at Universal and Disney, we're hosting a Super Bowl in Orlando every single day.
Exactly.
So it's
Exactly. It's
there's a lot
tremendous.
going on. But and I think the last thing is loyalty. We want people who are really good team members. They have to be good to each other. They got to look out for each other. They've got to be great in group environments. because when you are hosting an event of that size and people sort of split off, we've got to trust each other to do a great job and take care of their area. And I think it's loyalty to each other. In the old days, it was loyalty to the company. I think that's important. You want to work in a place that you feel proud to work and you have that sense of pride. But I think it's the loyalty to each other that when you're working in those team environments. We wind up hiring a lot of former student athletes. They're usually self-motivated, usually work great in a team environment. They're goal oriented. So those are the things that first and foremost we look for. If they're great communicators, that's a big bonus. If
Yeah.
they can write really well, that's also a big bonus. These days there's a little bit of an AI, piece to that. And obviously anything that can make us more productive is great, but you have to have a voice too. Like the organization has to have a voice, and sometimes that voice has to, it has to be a human voice.
Yes,
Especially, the best part about sports is no script. We don't know how it's going to end.
that's right. That's
You've got to
true.
be ready. You've got to be ready to lose in the last second. You've got to be ready to win in the last second. And sometimes
Oh,
people
yeah.
don't handle the victories. They handle defeat better than they do victory. So
Oh, I know. I know.
it's
Well,
really
I
important for
told you
that to
I'm a
happen.
Bills fan. I'm used to defeat.
I understand.
Still love them though. We're still part
I
of the Bills
understand.
Mafia.
Yeah, but
So I have two last
that's part of
questions
the
for you.
fandom too, right? That's part of being a fan, and that's what's
Yeah, no, you're
great about it.
right. You're right.
Communities that come together, regardless of background, race, ethnicity, everybody comes together to root for the local team.
It is. It's an incredible feeling to be a part of that. And I've had that experience, here in Orlando with the Lions and the Pride and the Magic. And, I think you're right. And I think those ideas about what it will take to get into and be competitive in this career is really important. I do have two last questions for you.
Sure.
One is just sort of a fun question. So I imagine you have met a lot of incredible athletes.
I have.
So who stands out when I say to you, like, you're still like pinching yourself that you met that person?
Muhammad Ali.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
1996. I was working in Phoenix. I was part of Rick Miller, was with the Boys and Girls Club. He was their
Hmm.
executive director, and I was on the gala committee. I was young. I was only 6 years out of college. I had a
Hmm.
friend who had a connection to Muhammad. Um,
Wow.
we had this incredible opportunity while he was going to be in town. He said that not only would he come to the gala, sign some things that we could auction off, but in exchange, what he wanted was no press, no media. He wanted to spend the entire next day. The gala was on a Saturday night. He wanted to spend the entire day after on Sunday. He said, "Take me to the most marginalized, underserved Boys and Girls Club community, and I'm going to spend a day with those kids." And he did, and it was incredible.
Wow. That's
Incredible.
an incredible story. That is an incredible story. Wow.
I have
So
one
what's next
photo.
for you?
It
Oh,
was
go
back.
ahead.
I have one photo of us on stage together.
Oh,
It
and
was
it's
back in
not
the
on your
day.
shelf
There were
in the
no
background.
selfies. There were no. I've got it somewhere, but yeah, it was. So thank God, whoever took that picture, I'll be able to keep that forever. My kids will
Oh,
have.
that is so cool. That is cool. So what is next for you, Jason?
Yeah, we're busy. I mean, we've got billions of dollars worth of bids out on behalf of the community. So many great things happening. You mentioned the Magic and Orlando City and the Pride, and of course UCF now in the Big 12.
Yes.
USTA is local. Arnold Palmer Invitational right around the corner, down at Bay Hill. So many great properties, so many great stakeholders in our community, and a lot of great venues. I think for us, it's how can we support World Cup in 26, be part of the Summer Olympics in 28,
Hmm.
um, Rugby World Cup 31, 33, 34 Winter Olympics go to Salt Lake City.
Oh, yeah.
We've got this crazy hit list, NCAA championships and high school championships. 70% of our business is youth amateur. We do, this community has the largest volleyball tournament in the world. 5,800 teams come here every
Yes, that
June
is
to
so cool.
compete. So we've got a big hit list and you know, a lot of things that we want to accomplish, but we're out there grinding, pounding the pavement, traveling the, you know, the world. Frankly, our business development team is overseas quite a bit. We do a lot of the, you know, domestic trade shows and drum up business, and hopefully we'll have some, you know, more great news on the horizon.
That's wonderful. So if people want to find out about the Greater Orlando Sports Commission, how can they do that?
Yeah, greaterorlandosports.com. It's you know, all the social media, you know, we're pretty active on LinkedIn. I'm definitely very active on LinkedIn.
Yes, I see you a lot there.
Yeah, I think that's a great place for, you know, B2B to have conversations with other senior executives. They can get a good feel and a good vibe for what's going on in our community. But those are great places to find us.
Well, thank you so much. And I know people are going to want to come here now that you've described this amazing sports environment that we have. So, Jason, I thank you so much for joining me today on the Bold Line podcast. This podcast is focused on sharing thoughts and connecting people to what matters. Here at CareerSource Central Florida, we are focused on being brilliant at what we do, being innovative to offer career solutions, being resilient in serving our community and beyond in dynamic ways, but most of all, to lead and inspire individuals. And you have definitely done that today. Thank you again. And thank you to listeners. We look forward to tuning in to our next Bold Line podcast.